For the course Intercultural Competence, we've had to read a certain amount of literature. For this task, I've chosen a rather peculiar book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It is a book about a human being who gets to travel around the universe and meet various alien cultures. In the meeting with these cultures, his human culture is put into perspective. So one, as a reader, also gets to question, why do we do this? Now, I'm going to read an excerpt from the book, and it doesn't tell very clearly what goes on in the book, because it is a very complicated book. But I do feel that it gives a very good idea of the sense of the mood in the book. Now, I'm going to read. Far out in the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end of the western spiral arm of the galaxy lies a small, unregarded yellow sun. Orbiting this, at a distance of roughly 98 million miles, is an utterly insignificant little blue-green planet, whose ape-descended life forms are so amazingly primitive that they still think digital watches are a pretty neat idea. This planet has, or rather had, a problem, which was this. Most of the people living on it were unhappy for pretty much of the time. Many solutions were suggested to this problem, but most of these were largely concerned with the movement of small green pieces of paper, which is odd, because on the whole of it, it wasn't the small green pieces of paper that were unhappy. And so the problem remained. Lots of the people were mean, and most of them were miserable, even the ones with the digital watches. Many were increasingly of the opinion that they'd all make a big mistake in coming down from the trees in the first place. And some said that even the trees had been a bad move, and that no one should ever have left the ocean. And then, one Thursday, nearly 2,000 years after one man had been nailed to a tree for saying how great it would be to be nice to people for a change, a girl sitting on her own in a small cafe in Rickmansworth suddenly realized what it was that had been going wrong all this time. And she finally knew how the world could be made a good and happy place. This time it was right. It would work, and no one would have to get nailed to anything. Sadly, however, before she could get to a phone to tell anyone about it, a terrible, stupid catastrophe occurred, and the idea was lost forever. This is not her story, but it is the story of that terrible, stupid catastrophe and some of its consequences.